Well, good evening, OCPS families. My name is Victoria Tierney. I'm the Senior Administrator for Family Engagement here at Orange County Public Schools. And we are so excited that you are joining us for another virtual mini Parent Academy. And tonight we are excited because we are going to focus on our students from kindergarten to fifth grade, and the family that reads together succeeds together. And to help us with that this evening, I would very much like to introduce a wonderful partner in education with us, Ms. Nasika Dennis, who is the Family and Community Engagement Coordinator for the Lastinger Center out of the University of Florida. And she is also going to help us understand and know more about the New Worlds Reading Initiative, which is a really integral part of our literacy program here at Orange County Public Schools. And I shouldn't say our literacy program, but our literacy supports. It's a fabulous. Before I do that, I also need to give a shout out, a huge shout out to our Lake Gem Elementary, who is hosting a watch party for us. So yay, welcome Lake Gem. You are in the house and we are so excited to have you. If you have any questions while we're doing the presentation, please don't hesitate to go ahead and pop those in the chat box and we will address those. So welcome, Nasika. How are you this evening?
I'm good, Victoria. How are you?
You know, I'm doing really well. I get very excited when it comes to literacy and our families because we know that it's simply just a cornerstone for their future success. And so the fact that you could be here tonight, share the information about New Worlds Reading Initiative, but also share with us some of those at-home tips so that families are able to continue supporting their children even when they leave the classroom. That's exciting.
Yes, for sure, Victoria. That's what we're all about, is helping, and we'll get into it more, but helping our students create at-home libraries and getting our families to engage with them in their reading. So good evening, everyone. Like Victoria said, I'm Nasika Dennis, and I am so excited to be with you all this evening. Just a fun fact about me, I actually went through the Orange County Public School System from elementary to high school. So elementary, I was a Weingard Patriot. Middle school, I was a Walker Middle Viking, and then I graduated from Oak Ridge High School, so proud pioneer. So I'm always very excited to be able to collaborate with Orange County, just give back to the public school system that poured so much into me.
Well, I think you do OCPS proud, Nasika, so that's awesome.
Thanks, Victoria. All right, so let's jump into it. Again, I am here with the New Worlds Reading Initiative, and we're going to just spend some time together, as Victoria said. You're going to hear about the program, who we are, and be able to learn some quick tips and tricks on how to read with your child at home. Also, before we get started, we have a quick video that I'd like to share with you. This is from our Reading Sheep's Passion campaign. We had a young fifth grade news reporter being able to interview different career individuals and how reading had helped them shape what they do today.
Just like our thumbprints are different, their nose prints are different.
So what's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal is a radiated tortoise, like a big turtle, but when you scratch his butt, he wiggles.
How did reading influence you growing up?
So when I was young, I used to go to the library all the time and check out all the nonfiction books, all about dogs, cats, all the animals.
Get inspired at newworldsreading.com.
Just like our thumbprint.
All right. So like Victoria mentioned, New Worlds Reading is under the UF Lastinger Center for Learning, and the Lastinger Center is to improve the quality of teaching, learning, and childcare. We research, develop, and scale equitable educational innovations for adults and children that put all learners on trajectory for lifelong success. We are celebrating our 20th year of operation in 2022 and have long provided support for both students and educators in early learning, literacy, and math. You may be familiar with the Early Learning Florida, the LM Root, and the Math Nation, just to name a few, if any of your students are participating in that at school. In 2021, we were honored to be named the administrator for the New Worlds Reading Initiative, continuing our work to support students and educators and extending the reach of learning to support families and caregivers. So, the New Worlds Reading Initiative is a family literacy engagement program established by statute under the guidance of House Speaker Chris Sprowls, and it is Florida's first statewide book delivery program. Our vision of the New Worlds Reading Initiative is to create at-home libraries for VPK through fifth grade students who are not yet reading on grade level. We want to build caregivers' confidence and capacity to support their child's reading development by providing strategies, tips, and tools to encourage meaningful engagement. We recognize the value of partnership, and we are thankful for partnerships like with OCPS, and we aim to establish community partnerships throughout the state to increase awareness and support families and children. We also want to build excitement. So like we seen earlier with our commercial, we have launched statewide promotional campaigns under the New Roads Reading Initiative. And we recently just launched this past summer, Teacher PB, to help teachers develop teacher experts in the science of reading through micro-credentials and create the home-to-school connection in literacy. So current eligibility for the New Worlds Reading Initiative goes as follows. So for VPK students to be deemed eligible are students who are not yet making age-appropriate progress according to student assessments. For our K through 5 students, it's for students who are in public or charter schools who are not yet reading on grade level based off the FAST assessment. And then it's also for our K through 5 students who are receiving Tier 2 or Tier 3 reading instruction.
And Nasika, this is really important to mention that this is new about our VPK students, right?
Yes, so we recently just launched, it's super exciting.
It
We
is.
recently launched our VPK expansion actually this past July.
It used to be just kindergarten. So we're recognizing more and more that the earlier we can go ahead and really increase those at-home libraries for our youngest learners, it can be really impactful and contribute to their success.
Exactly, Victoria. What's really exciting about, there's so much excitement around New Worlds. One of the exciting things is once a student enrolls in New Worlds, they stay in, once they are found eligible, they stay in the program until they graduate elementary school. So if you have a VPK student who's found eligible, they stay in the program until they graduate elementary. And it's not, there's no need to reapply every year. The only way a student actually discontinues in the program is once they graduate or if a parent chooses to no longer continue in the program.
Well, that's really wonderful because even if they start to read on grade level, you're not taking away this wonderful home library that's built this love of learning for them. So I think that's one of the biggest perks of New World's Reading Initiative is that if you get your children in early, then even when they do reach grade level in terms of their reading proficiency, their love for reading will continue to grow until they move into middle school.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm trying to find my mouse. Okay. So I just wanted to share a few stats with you all. So we estimate that there are over 900,000 students eligible to participate in New Worlds Reading. With 9 books shipped to each student, that means over 7 million books and literacy resources are delivered per year. We are excited to celebrate this milestone. So since we began in December 2021, we have shipped over 4 million books across our state. So enrollment is now open for students who enroll and will begin for students who are eligible and enroll. And book delivery will begin in October. And they'll receive 9 books every month until they graduate out of elementary schools. And as Victoria mentioned earlier, even if their reading scores improve and they become proficient readers, which is the goal, right? They will still remain in the program and receive the books and resources through 5th grade.
So Nasika, we're now in November. So if families find out their child is eligible and they enroll, will they still get an October book or will it start with November?
They'll still get their October book, correct? Yes.
Wonderful.
No matter when though enrollment opens in October, no matter when you begin, we'll always make sure you get your books.
That's fabulous.
So this is just what, again, if for eligibility to apply for New World, you visit our website, newworldreading.com, and here is the homepage here. You just hit apply now. The application is available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. So through our book selection, we are able to provide a range of high quality books because of our partnership with Scholastic. I don't know if anyone remembers the Scholastic book fairs. That was my favorite part of elementary. Our team consults with the Florida Department of Education to develop a growing book list that indicates books from the new Florida best standards. Books include both fiction and nonfiction, covering a wide range of genres and topics to appeal to your child's interests, which I think is really cool. In each shipment, books are geared towards the topic your students selected during enrollment, such as adventure, art, science, technology, math. And our books, along with our resources, are available in English, Spanish, Haitian Creole, and Braille.
Well, and I just dropped the link to the application in the chat box for anyone who wants to make sure that they get that, because this is really exciting. This is where you're getting books that are popular, books that kids will see when they go into the media center, and books that they see their friends reading. So it's not like somebody's going to look at a book and say, "Oh, I've never heard of that story before." I'm looking there going, Pete the Cat. When I taught first grade, I could not keep enough Pete the Cat books on my shelves. So, this is really exciting that they're getting such quality books.
Yes, and what's really to add to that, Victoria, when families do go on our website and apply, we have what we call book bundles. So when the families are sitting down going through the application, the student is able to see what books come in that bundle under the genre. So they see a visual of the books that they're able to receive every month. Now we know with students, their interest changes, and we love to spark their interest. So once they receive my books, and let's say their interest changes, I no longer want books on art. I want books on another book bundle on another genre. They're able to go back and they're able to go back and tailor their book choice and receive different books.
That's really exciting.
So an important part of New World's reading is providing an opportunity for families and children to share the experience of a book together. That's the goal as well. So with literacy resources for families included in each book shipment, what we do at New World's Reading support families and caregivers to participate in the reading with their children. In year one, we released a number of family engagement supports. Initially, deliveries included tip sheets and reading guides to support families with reading at home. But over time, we provided additional literacy resources through digital platforms, including text messages with resources and online videos available on our website. And we have one later in the presentation to share.
And
New World Reading.
I would
Oh,
say I
yes,
did
go ahead.
drop the link into the chat so that parents would be able to go to the website and see some of those wonderful resources. And the other thing I love about this, Nasika, is that the family resources, they're aligned to the stories that the children are getting. So it really does help to take the children deeper into the literature and into the stories that they're reading. So I love that.
Yeah, they're really great. It's again, it's helping the student really build those skills, those reading skills. But then there's also fun activities that let the student know reading is fun. So we're coming together, we're enjoying the book together, we're also doing activities related to the book and reading. And Victoria, I'm happy to stop now for any questions before we dive into the next portion of our presentation.
Sure, I've been monitoring the chat right now. If you do have any questions and you're watching, please go ahead and drop them into the chat. We'd be happy to answer them. If you don't have any questions, then we can certainly continue on and learn more about some of the at-home strategies that New World's Reading Initiative can help us with. I'm not seeing any questions come in, Nasika. I think we're good.
All right, let's keep going. So now we're going to talk about, again, those at-home reading tips, and we want to build successful reading habits. And how do we do that? We want to find a cozy spot to read. If it's a corner in the home, if it's a favorite blanket or favorite chair, creating that cozy space for your student to read. Create a scheduled time to read. A lot of families that I come across, I love to hear what their routine is when they're reading with their student, and it's before bedtime or it's while they're enjoying dinner or downtime after coming home from school. So creating a schedule, creating a routine to help your student um, build that habit of reading at home. Reading can happen everywhere, as we know. So if we are, we always encourage families to, whenever at the grocery store, or if you're walking down the street, looking at street signs, items in the grocery store, and asking your student, hey, can you read what that is? Or asking them questions on the signs that they read. What do they see? What does it mean to them? Because we know that reading happens everywhere. And make reading fun. Whenever you're reading with your student, and something I personally do with reading with my younger students is, if it's a character book, for example, and we know that there's different dialogues or different characters that are speaking, giving it a funny voice, showing emotion with the character. So if the character is angry, giving an angry voice. If the character is happy, giving a happy voice. I like to give each character its own voice so the student is able just to see the dialogue that's taking place. Again, just making it fun for the student, maybe even acting it out. If there's some actions that are happening, acting it out with your student. Again, just making reading fun for them.
My kids used to love those Mo Willems Piggy and Gerald books because you always knew when Piggy was speaking and you always knew when Gerald was speaking. And so they would love to be able to act those out, really use voices for Piggy and Gerald. And they're just fun books because Mo Willems is just such a great author and he's so silly. But exactly what you were just saying, it would really bring the story to life for them. And those repeated readings, as they would continue to repeat, it's okay to do repeated readings. You don't just have to read a book and say, oh, I'm done. I read that book. They would come back and just keep getting better and better at being able to put that expression into the story.
Exactly, Victoria. And then I love to see when students start making it their own. And then you start seeing the creativity just spark. It just gets, I'm getting goosebumps because it gets so, we see the growth and we see the skills really developing. So again, making it fun, letting them make it their own. And these are just a few tips. And again, we have more on our website, and we'll continue with more that we have for you all. All right. So another at-home reading tip is being a word hunter. For younger readers, look at words with the same pattern. So if it has the same pattern in the word, helping your young readers to identify what that pattern is. Do they rhyme? Do they end with the same ending or root word, etc.? Helping them identify those patterns. As we mentioned earlier, act out action words. Make it fun. If they're jumping, let's jump. If they're running safely inside, let's run. Again, having them act out those action words. Ask your child to point out the words they know and read them for you. That's one of my favorite tips to do with young readers because they get, again, that confidence of, oh, I know this word. So asking them to read it out and read it to you, it's a great way to be a word hunter. Now, for our older readers, like our 3 to 5, when they encounter longer words, encourage them to break the words into smaller parts, helping them identify how can we break it down to say the word. One thing I've remembered since 3rd grade was the word extraordinary, right? So breaking it down to say, my teacher said extraordinary, making it easier to, one, pronounce, which was the issue for me, but also being able to read the word when I came across it again.
And we sometimes, I think parents forget that words literally, I, uh, the, some of those smaller words that kids can see on a regular basis, that's still reading the word.
Yes.
So, you can start with something as simple as every time you see I, a capital I, when it's in the book is going to be a word, you can read that word. And then that does build a child's confidence to say, well, wait a minute, I already know some of these words. And that allows them then to start working on kind of blending more of those sounds. So I love that idea of, even if it's just every time you see the word I or a, that's a word. They can read it.
Exactly. And then our last tip for being a word hunter is to make sure they take the time to solve the words. They don't know, so they don't know so that they understand what they read. We I know, and I'm guilty of it when reading with a student. Sometimes it's, okay, here's the word, and I just give you the word. But it's so important to allow our students the time to actually solve the word. Again, if we're trying to break it down, or the pronunciation, like what sound does this letter make, until we get to the actual word, and then allowing them, a few practices to say the word. It goes back again to building that confidence when they're reading. We're breaking the word into smaller parts. And then we are just adding more vocab to our students' language, which is always great. Oh, okay. Sorry. The next at-home reading tip is to learn new words. So use child-friendly explanations. This promotes a rich vocabulary, enhancing communication, and improve comprehension. And we'll give examples here. So here we have the word mysteriously. So let's say you're reading with your student. If we wanted to use a child-friendly explanation, we want it to be defined in a way that the student can understand. So if we wanted to do, again, a child-friendly definition, for the word mysteriously is someone who does something mysteriously, does it strangely or in secret. Again, making it child friendly for them to understand. I've never seen the word mysteriously, but I may know but I do know what it means when someone's acting in secret or doing something really weird or strange. So putting it in a way for them to understand and then correlate, okay, well, I know when someone does something strange, but another word for that is mysteriously. Oop. Now, if you want in the chat to participate, if you wanted to create your own child-friendly definition for the word swoop. So here the excerpt says, after Miss Hilliard left mysteriously at the end of last year, Miss Cowley swooped in to take the job. Although they both had the same brown eyes, Miss Hilliard's were warm. In the chat, if you'd like to participate, what would you write or define as swoop in child-friendly definition? Victoria?
Okay, I'm calling out to Lake Gem on this one. We've got families, they're watching. So, Lake Gem, put your heads together. Those noggins are going to do some thinking. And how would you come up with a child-friendly definition of swooped? Miss Crowley swooped in to take the job. We're going to give them a few minutes. These are great strategies, and I really am excited that you're able to share these with our families, Nasika, because this is really, they're very practical. They're easy to engage in at home. And they also create opportunities for our families to talk about what they're reading, which is really exciting.
Yeah, again, it's helping with that. We want to build confidence on both ends, right? Confident readers and confident families in reading with their students. But I always get excited sharing these tips because, like you said, they're so easy and really something we can implement right away.
So, Lake Gem, do we have a child-friendly definition of swooped yet? Um, I don't see one yet, so Nasika will go on, but I'm going to keep looking in the chat box and I'll let you know when our Lake Gem families have given us a child-friendly definition.
Sounds good. So our next at-home reading tip is making connections to what they are reading. So when we make connections to what we are reading, it allows the student to have a deeper understanding on what they are reading. Here are some ideas. So in this excerpt here, you can see it says, you see, high up was safe since he liked a slow pace, while the ground down below seemed a frightening place. Too fast, too loud, too big, too strange. Nope, Kevin preferred not to move or to change. So when we talk about making connections to what they read, we want our students to be able to really connect with the reading and be able to, in a sense, put themselves in the book and relate and see if they can relate to the characters that they're reading about. So when we take this example for the excerpt here, some questions we could ask is, what does this remind you of? Have you ever felt like Kevin? I know I have. Why do you think it is important to try new things? Can anyone think of another connection your child might make or a question we can ask to help them connect to the reading?
So I'm going to follow up, Nasika, while we give our Lake Gem family some more think time. Jabari's family did respond to us, and if we go back
Yeah,
to making up a child-friendly definition for swooped, Jabari's family said it just means quickly. When you do
awesome.
something quickly,
Hmm.
she swooped in, she picked it up quickly. So great job, Jabari's family. Thank you so much. And then the other thing we're looking for is, can you think of another connection your child might make if you were reading this story with them? And again, Nasika, we can give them some think time. If you're moving on, I promise to monitor the chat and
Okay,
we'll come back and I'll let you know what our Lake Gem families are thinking, or what they're connecting to.
sounds good. All right, so our last at-home reading tip before we share one of our resource videos is ask questions before, during, and after reading. So before we read a book, look at the cover of the book. Ask your student, what do you think this book will be about? You can also ask them, who do you think the author is? Who's the illustrator? What is an author? What is an illustrator? And ask them those questions before we dive into the book. During reading, you can ask questions like, related to this book, for example, tell me what you learned about the giant squid. Did that surprise you? And after reading, again, we're helping our students comprehend to understand what they've read. Who won the battle? Did it end the way you thought? Why do you think the squid won?
So this is really great that you were showing those before, during, and after questions, Nasika. For a lot of our families, we have approximately 35 of our schools are participating in a program that the district has been working on called Bedtime Books. And Bedtime Books is basically a literacy program where our parent engagement liaisons at these 35 schools will present these parent workshops sharing a lot of the shared reading strategies. And part of what comes with that are actual parent question cards. So it guides them through exactly what you just talked about. How do we go ahead and, before we even read, kind of set the tone for the reading? What do you think this will be about? Look at the cover. Who do you think the characters will be in this story? And talking about the illustrator. And then once you're actually in the story, we give them in the parent cards some suggested questions to go ahead and ask while they're reading. And then we have the after reading questions. And then what we do is we ask our families to log their minutes. OCPS is using the Beanstack app. And then we ask them to log their minutes every week. And we have incentives and different recognition for families that are really logging those minutes and excelling. So everything you just showed is a perfect dovetail to what we've been doing in those 35 schools with the bedtime books program. So this is really wonderful.
That is so awesome, Victoria. And it's great to hear that you guys are doing this in the schools. Right. So like we mentioned earlier on our website, we do have free resources available. Now, if you enroll in New Worlds and your student is not found eligible, which is great because they're reading on grade level, all our resources on our website are free. So all the interactive reading guides are available for all our educators out there that are watching. We do have educator resources as well on the website, and we have videos like the one we're about to watch now that are also available on the website.
Welcome to the New Worlds Reading Initiative. This video will highlight how to ask open-ended questions while reading with your child. Open-ended questions are questions with no single right or wrong answer. Instead, children have the opportunity to elaborate on their thinking. Open-ended questions can be answered in a variety of ways and usually bring about a longer response from your child. Asking open-ended questions during reading promotes higher-level thinking and language development by encouraging your child to provide more than a yes or no response. Motivates your child to look beyond what is right there in the text and makes inferences based on their background experiences. Helps your child make connections between the text and their own life to keep them interested in reading, and supports your child in thinking more deeply about the book and deepens their knowledge and comprehension skills. Another benefit is that asking open-ended questions will promote a back-and-forth discussion between you and your child to help them build vocabulary knowledge and comprehend the text. You may be wondering how to ask your child open-ended questions while you read together. Here are a few tips to get started. Question starters can be used with any book you read and begin with prompts like, why do you think? How do you know? What would happen if? Tell me more about. What would you do? What happened when? Answering open-ended questions can be difficult for your child at first because they have to think about the text beyond what they see right in front of them. You can support your child in answering open-ended questions by providing wait time. Wait time is the practice of waiting a short amount of time before expecting an answer. Typically, adults are quick to jump in and provide an answer when the child doesn't respond right away. Allowing your child 3 to 7 seconds of silence to think after you ask them an open-ended question will give them an opportunity to think about the question and give a response. Watch the following video to see how a parent uses open-ended questions and provides wait time to have a conversation while reading with their child.
All right, so what are we going to read today?
Bob's and Tweets Scout Camp.
Bob's and Tweets Scout Camp. Okay. Chapter 1.
Chapter 1. No Bob's on board.
Oh, why do you think he's crying? So someone's homesick already. What would you do if you were away from home for such a long period of time?
I would want to go back.
Ah, so maybe that's why he was crying. What would you bring if you were going to camp?
I would bring blanket and axe, and that's it.
A blanket and an axe. Okay. Awesome.
The interactive reading guides that are available for each New Worlds Reading Initiative book will provide you with open-ended questions that you can ask your child. Happy reading!
So just like the video mentioned, these are some questions, some open-ended questions that you can ask your student. So what important events happened in the chapter that I just read? What surprised me? What do I think will happen next? I predict that which part of the chapter did I need to reread to help understand the story better? Sorry, these are follow-up questions you can ask your student. I apologize. What questions or wonderings do I still have about this chapter? Which words are new to me? How can I find the meanings of any new or unfamiliar words? What pictures did I paint in my mind as I was reading? I'll leave this screen up just for a few seconds if you'd like to take a photo of it. And again, these are some questions you can ask your student after as a follow-up once they're done reading.
And you know what, Nisika, I'm going to go ahead and also drop in the link to just the New Worlds Reading Initiative website
Okay.
because I was taking a look at a lot of these parent resources that are on the website. These are fabulous videos. Like, I was really impressed that it isn't just a few. You've got almost a dozen videos there that parents would be able to look through even for some of our older readers, like decoding multisyllabic words. Like, how do you help your child really do that? It's fine to say, break the word apart, but if my child doesn't know where to even begin to break the
Mhm.
word, that's not going to help them really figure it out. So these kinds of videos I absolutely love. You've got create reading routines for grades 3 through 5, which is really important. We can usually control better our smaller children's routines,
Yeah.
but when our children start to get 3rd to 5th grade, they don't always necessarily want us to be controlling it. So how do we help them create really, positive reading habits
Mhm.
and routines? So I'm very impressed with these. So I did drop the link so that parents would be able to get to these.
Awesome. Thanks, Victoria. Right. So, the this is a slide that we usually share with partners, but for any teachers or educators who are on the call, how can you help? If you, you can help um, eligible students apply again to newworldreading.com. You can be an ambassador of the program to help spread the words to families, communities, and other educators within your network. And then you can follow us on social media for all things New Worlds Reading. I also want to share about the New Worlds Reading Scholarship account. So the New Worlds Scholarship is administered by Step Up for Students, and it offers families access to education savings accounts worth up to $500 each to pay for tuition and fees related to part-time tutoring, summer, and after-school programs, which are designed to improve literacy and has been recently added literacy or mathematics skills. Laptops and tablets and more are covered as well. If you'd like more information about the New World Reading Scholarship account, please visit stepupforstudents.org. I've had the opportunity to hear from recipients of the Step Up for Student um, of the New World Reading Scholarship account, and a lot of the families, it's been an overwhelming amount of joy just to hear how this has helped them take their students to that next level, right, of providing tutoring. I've heard families buy like software or different books to help their students improve in their reading.
Well, and as ever, you know me and my links. I love to be dropping this stuff in the chat. I did put the link to the application for the scholarship in the chat just to make sure that parents had that as well. So, and this is really exciting because we understand that fa families may want to be able to help their child. They may want to be able to do something, but we all have the reality of our limitations. And oftentimes it's a financial limitation. You just need a little help. I mean, this $500 can really make a difference for a family. So this is a wonderful opportunity. And when parents are asking the scholarship, what makes a student eligible for a scholarship?
So for students who are, again, not who are showing deficiency in mathematics or again our students who are receiving the tier 2 tier 3 instruction.
So that's exciting. So, I mean, if you're already in the New Worlds Reading
Mhm.
Initiative program, then this is almost just like a natural progression for that to go ahead
Exactly.
and apply.
Yes, ma'am. Correct. So now we come to our Q&A portion. Do we have any questions in the chat?
I don't have any questions in the chat yet, but I did want to go ahead and, if it's okay with you, just ask you a couple questions that maybe parents haven't really thought about,
Yeah.
just so that they know. So we had talked about who is like administering the program. It's the Lastinger Center out of the University of Florida. But how is this program funded? How are you able to get all of these books and these scholarships to so many students?
Yeah, so for our books, it's with our partnership and collaboration with Scholastic. So all our books, again, they go through SBOE, meet the best standard, but Scholastic is actually shipping and they're the distributors of our books. And the funding are just from generous donors who believe in what we're doing, who want to see our confident, they want to see confident readers and help families engage. So it's really from generous donors who really support and see the vision of New Worlds.
Well, that's really exciting. I also know there are times when some of our families in this day and age are a little concerned about if I sign up, what kind of information am I giving out? You know, how will my child's information be protected? And just for parents to know and feel confident that as they go ahead and apply for this incredible opportunity, how is the information protected?
Yeah. So we have data sharing agreements with Orange County and the rest of the districts across the state. When a family applies to our to New World Reading, the information we're asking for is information that the school would already have, right? But it's as simple as you'll just need their contact information, the student's name and the school they attend and the grade. We wouldn't need any identifiers like the student ID or anything. Again, because we have the data sharing agreement, it is able to we're able to link it with whatever the school has. The other information we would ask, like a caregiver's email and phone number, really we use that to share updates, again, share those reading tips and strategies. And if for some reason maybe we don't have the right address or we need an update, we're able to contact them. And then we ask for the address where the books will be delivered.
Okay. So for some of our families who may not have housing security, are they still eligible? How does it work for some of our families that may be a little more mobile than other families?
Yeah, so we get that question a lot. We have encouraged families to speak with their schools and see if the schools would be willing to receive the books on their behalf of the school's address.
Oh, that's a great idea. And I know we keep talking about this, but I do want to go back and make sure. So how we talked about VPK now being added.
Mhm.
I know for like kindergarten through fifth grade, we rely on that first beginning of the year progress monitoring assessment to be able to get that data. How do we know if a VPK child or a child who's just absolutely new to kindergarten, how do we know if they're eligible?
So we are using the STAR assessment that is used for VPK, and
Okay.
we're looking at if a student is not making those age appropriate progress. So based off that STAR assessment, if we see that the student isn't hitting um, those requirements to be considered age appropriate progress, that's how we would identify them as being eligible.
Awesome. So then I also was curious, if someone says, you know what, my child is currently not eligible, can I still apply? Because you know what? They're doing okay now, but they're just on that cusp. And what if they drop? Or what if, the content gets a little more difficult and then they begin to struggle a little more? How does that work?
Yeah, for sure. So you could a family could definitely apply, and if it comes back, yes, your student isn't eligible, we still hold on to their application because as we know, our students take the 3 p.m. testing.
Mm-hmm.
So let's say PM 1, the student was on grade level, they did very well. PM 2, they dropped just a bit, and now they were flagged for New World Reading, have the application, and they're now receiving their books. And let's say by PM 3, they're back on grade level, they stay in the program. So we do encourage families, if you apply and, maybe that first round your student isn't eligible, we still hold on to their information, and we keep it in our database.
So then, let's just say I'm a parent of a student who's part of our exceptional student education um, program, and there may be some challenges. How does that work with New World's Reading Initiative and the books?
So with the books that the student would receive is the books based off the grade level. So for some students, of course, we know that would be a little challenging, but we do have again, the interactive reading guides to really help
Perfect.
build and slowly move into progressing towards that grade level. That's the goal, right? Is to expose them to their grade level content and material so that we can help them work towards being on help our striving readers.
I was really impressed too when I was looking over the website and noticed that you offer books in Braille.
Mhm.
So any of our visually impaired students, that's wonderful that they have access to all of those books. That's incredible.
And also with the Braille book, so you have the Braille content, it also comes with the book for the caregiver to help go along with their student as they're reading the Braille content.
That's amazing. Well, I am going to make sure that I drop in the very last thing I want to drop in is the website and the email address so that if at any time any of our parents, educators, caregivers, anyone that's been participating with us today, if they need that information, if they want to get more information, please go ahead and visit the website. The New Worlds Reading Initiative is really a powerful and impactful resource for our families. And when you're really talking about looking at your pre-K through kindergarten children, a lot of them, right in the beginning of the year, right about now, they're not going to be scoring proficient on a lot of those assessments because they're just starting their learning journey. So, we really want to encourage parents to go ahead, contact your child's teacher, ask them, what did my child score on this first progress monitoring
Mhm.
assessment? Because if they don't have to be hugely deficient. They just have to be below grade level, and they'll be able to go ahead and apply and be eligible for this program. Like Jem was saying, Nisika, that it's so awesome that New Worlds Reading Initiative application is available in English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole for their families. They were able to sign up at least 2 families this evening
Oh, yay.
as they were doing their watch party. So a big shout out again to our Lake Gem families. We are so thrilled you could join us. And we also want to mention that we have a face-to-face parent academy. The next one coming up will be in February, and it's called Championing Your Child, knowing what they need, getting them what they need, and when they need it. And that's going to be really kind of tied into this idea of the New Worlds Reading Initiative because we want to make sure that parents are aware not only what do your kids need, but am I able to get the resources that help me to be able to continue to move them towards success. And we thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and also drop in our very last link, but that's just to a short survey that we ask families to take to let us know if this was helpful as a virtual mini academy, because we want to be able to provide them not only resources, but opportunities that they can continue to learn and grow with us. Oh,
And
and
I
they have,
was,
Lake Gem is saying 2 more applications
oh,
in
nice.
progress. So Lake Gem is
Awesome.
doing great tonight. We thank you so much. If you do have a minute to go ahead and take our Parent Academy survey. In the meantime, Nasika, is there anything else you want to share with families before we sign off tonight?
Yeah, so just real quick, this is for families and educators, but mostly our educators. We also offer in-person family workshops at schools, and we
Oh,
also do family literacy nights as well. So 2 weeks ago, I was actually in Orange County and visited UCP, three of their campuses, and we hosted family literacy nights. It's an opportunity for us to do reading activities where we do a presentation like we seen here, but more so just an overview of New Worlds. We have a dinner that we provide as well, so we
oh
can
my
just
gosh.
um, learn about New Worlds all over food. And we also do, we then transition into reading activity stations. At the stations, again, it's an opportunity for families to engage in the books as well as the reading, interactive reading guides. And then to top it all off, the students are able to go home with the books from the event.
That's very exciting. There's nothing better than being able to learn about something, learn new strategies, and then walk out the door with that book in
Exactly.
your hand. I
Exactly.
know when I was younger, that was always a very exciting thing. You talked about those book fairs. I'll tell you what, I have not outgrown that. Walking into a book fair, I turn into a little kid. I am so excited about all the opportunities to see the new books, to be able to find new read alouds. And
Mm,
people think read alouds are just for kids. There's some really awesome, we call them everybody, but everyone books. You can learn some great
I
lessons.
love it.
Well, I thank you so much for being with us tonight. Again, if you have any questions or you want to learn more, please don't hesitate to visit www.newworldsreading.com. You can always reach out to us here at Parent Academy, at Orange County Family Engagement. And thank you so much, Lake Gem, for the watch party. That was exciting. Way to go on that. And Nasika, we certainly wish you well as you continue to get people involved. Lake Gem is saying, thank you again. This was amazing. We
Awesome.
thank you, Lake Gem. It wouldn't have been nearly as fun without you. So have a great night, everyone. Thank you again for joining us. And make sure to continue to check into the Parent Academy website here at OCPS, parentacademy.ocps.net, so that we can go ahead and share all of our future virtual mini academies with you. We do at least 2 a week. That's 2 virtual mini academies a week, and we cover everything like you saw today with reading strategies to help families succeed at home, to even we have an HBCU college admissions panel that's coming in November 14th. So we cover the gamut. We hope that we're doing a good job of being able to meet our families' needs. Again, Nasika, thank you. Have a great night.
Maria, you too. Bye, everyone. Thank you.